Hey there fellas, welcome back to Screenplay Studies. It's me, your boy, Matthew House. Now I haven't felt the pride of being a father yet, but I think you guys came pretty close because you guys actually commented this time. Look at all that, look. That was you guys. I'm just gonna go with first come first serve, and we're gonna look at a musical today. So last week we looked at The Simpsons, and the week before that we looked at John Carpenter's The Thing. And in both videos we looked at how different a rough draft can be from the final film. I decided I kind of wanted to change that up this week, and what better way to do that than with a musical? Not only have we analyzed the title page for screenplays, but we've also taken a look at the formatting for screenplay for, film and television. Today we're going to be looking at two different types of a screenplay, but for the same story. Today we're going to be looking at Little Shop of Horrors. So Little Shop of Horrors was released in 1982 and was directed by Frank Oz. The version that we're going to be looking at is an adaptation of a stage play of the same name but released in 1982, which in turn was also an adaptation of another film called The Little Shop of Horrors, released in 1960, which in turn was an adaptation of cave paintings from the year 20,000 BC. Don't worry, I looked at the Wikipedia, that's factual and truthful. You can trust me. I've never led you astray. We're not too keen on giving out misinformation here at Screenplay Studies. This film centers around the character named Seymour, who is an employee of a flower shop in Skid Row, who is played by Rick Moranis. The flower shop is on the verge of bankruptcy and closing down, but Seymour has the bright idea to use a strange and interesting plant that just so happened to beam itself from the sky out of nowhere.
Excuse me, I couldn't help noticing that strange and interesting plant. What is it?
And he decides to put it in the shop window to garner attention, which works, by the way. Try to keep up. This is going to be on the test. Hijinks ensue because the plant requires both blood and human flesh to grow, which is always a good sign and is how plants work. So Seymour does the only sane thing and feeds people to the plant. So Seymour starts by feeding Audrey's abusive boyfriend to the plant, who is my favorite character because of how hammy and over-the-top pure evil he is to everyone that he interacts with in the film. My kind of guy, Steve Martin, is a genius. After that, Seymour's boss/father figure gets fed to the plant, and that's more on the plant than on Seymour, so... and then the plant just decides to get wacky with it and wants to go after Audrey. So now let's start talking about the screenplay itself, our favorite part. So like I said, we're going to be looking at two different types of screenplays for this story. We're going to be looking at the screenplay for the film, and the one I have a personal copy of, the screenplay for the stage production. So the screenplay for a stage production is usually a lot more condensed than the screenplay for the film of the same story. Because it just has a lot less to go over. It doesn't have to worry about camera directions, it doesn't have to worry about editing directions, and it doesn't have to worry about a lot of the action. It's mainly a little bit of action and dialogue. It's more accustomed to a script than a screenplay. So as you can see here, the stage production version of the screenplay is completely different and formatted completely different than the film version of the screenplay. As you can see, it's aligned to the left side of the page instead of the center, like the film one. There's a lot less action lines. The stage production version of the screenplay will also have musical cues, since it is being performed live instead of being recorded for later viewing as a film. I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up this week. Sorry for being so light on the content today. I've been sick this week with food poisoning, and it also doesn't help that my birthday was yesterday. So good job, Matthew, you loser. You got sick for your birthday. I hope you're happy with that. Please comment down below what you'd like to see next, whether it's a TV show, another kind of stage production, or film. And first comes first serve, I guess, or if I have a physical copy, I might choose what I want to do out of what you say. So yeah, next week we'll be coming out with 2 videos on Friday instead of just 1. You can think of that as a way for me making up for today's lackluster sick one. But it's also because spring break is the week after, so I have to do 2 at the same time. So look forward to that, and yeah. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.